Boxing King Media in association with Box Row here with Shane McGuigan. Shane, 2 out of 2 today. Both fighters of yours in good performances. Let's talk about Caroline Dubois first of all. In against a very tough opponent, but just seemed very comfortable in there at times.
Yeah, I felt like it was a fight. It was a fight that we had everything. We had a knockdown. She hurt her opponent to the head. She hurt her badly to the body. You know, she got the 8 rounds out. She got hit a few times, so she had to switch herself on a few times. She had to figure their style out, that awkward long-range style as well. It was everything that you really would want in a fight of that sort of stature. You know, I mean, that girl, yeah, Yanina has been. She gone in there. She's avenged one of her defeats, and then the other one was against Estelle Mosley, who won the Olympic gold medal, and then it was for IBO world title, and that was a split decision. You can't really get that fight, so it shows that she did extremely well. Potentially would have won that fight, whereas Caroline's walked away, won 8 rounds and got a knockdown, but she critically gave herself a 6 because she felt like it was a bit ragged and a bit, and of course, like, you can always get out of fights. I mean, Chris Smith came out of the fight against Lawrence Coley and said, "Oh, I could have done so much better." It's like, yeah, but that's the way fighters, that every fighter feels that way. What you do in the gym is very, very hard to transfer it across, but if you can transfer 60 to 70% of it, then that's where you're hitting good form. And if you have a great day and you transfer in 89% what you do in the gym, then you're looking spectacular. So that's what we need to do. We just need to get that form across. But that girl's ranked number 6 and above in all of the governing bodies. Is going to hold her in great stead. She wants to fight for a world title at the end of the year, and I think, why not? She's more than capable of winning them.
Do you feel like Caroline's got the fighter that's got the status of the passing of the torch? A lot of people are talking about Katie Taylor's obviously towards the end now. Clarissa Shields has been fantastic, but I think now she's sort of struggling to find the fights that she wants. Caroline Dubois, a lot of people are talking about her being the next biggest female star in boxing. How long do you reckon it's going to be before we see her in that big title clash? Yeah,
as I said, it depends what Katie Taylor wants to do at the 135. I mean, Caroline's a 135 pounder right now. She weighed in at 9 stone 10. Her opponent weighed in at 9'11 and a half. It was flickering to 9'12, and I reckon her opponent, after rehydration, she looked like she could have been close to 11 stone in there, whereas Caroline doesn't put much weight on. There was almost like a size difference in there, but we just got to wait and see what Katie Taylor wants to do with the belts. I think there's rumours that she wants to avenge that defeat to Chantel, and I heard that she wants to do it at 140. So if that's the case, then hopefully we can lean on a few governing bodies to get a vacant belt. And then you got Michaela Mayer, who's sitting there in line. She wants a shot at a title. So why not make that as a world title fight? I mean, it's a huge fight, and I think it would be. It would only be right to do it for a world title, and obviously Michaela's a former world champion as well, so it would be huge. And I think that's the status she wants to be at, and I think that's the status she's destined to be at.
All in all, obviously Hassan AZIM, like to say, you don't get paid overtime in boxing, got his job done against an opponent that he was supposed to get his job done against, but looked good in it.
Yeah, I think so. I think Hassan was great. It's hard to say, he's what he did in there. It's hard to say that he learnt lots of lessons, but he was really good in the gym this camp, and I feel like he's getting back to his. He's starting to use his feet a little bit more, like dropping in and out of the range, and then mixing in a little bit of the power and the pro style. Because a lot of people, when they get a lot of success in the amateurs, they turn into being pros, and they sometimes neglect. I mean, if you go and watch Chris Smith sparring, you're thinking, all right, I want to hold my feet a little bit more and work on the inside, and it's like, well, you have to understand that your game is on that long range stuff, and then you have to be able to mix it in, and then obviously have the right opponents to do so. So it's been a very good camp, and I think that was just an exhibition of him showcasing what we've been doing in camp, and he got great knockout. But it's he's a silent sort of. He's a dark horse, Hass. I think a lot of people are writing him off, and I think he's got so much potential, and I'm excited for his future. It's just going to be a few years later.
Yeah, I think it's always hard being in the shadow of someone that's his brother who's going to get fast-tracked to world title fights or whichever title fights it's going to be. Quickly, just want to move on. Last weekend we saw Josh Taylor fight Teofimo Lopez. Just your thoughts on that. Obviously, people expected Josh to go out there, maybe do something against Teo, who people were saying was fading away. Obviously, that wasn't the case. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like I said in a previous interview, it's very hard for me to look genuine and come across not bitter. I think Teofimo wasn't on good form, but also Josh wasn't on good form against that Cattrall fight. So the two of them were coming off, and I think Teo was able to turn it around. He likes fighting southpaws clearly, and he rises to the occasion. And Josh just didn't look like he got going. I mean, he got stunned in about the third or fourth, got hit with a good body shot, and just didn't have the confidence within himself to be able to really press on, because the way to beat Teofimo Lopez is to crack him. You got to press him, and do it intelligently, and not let him have his rests. And I think that the activity with Josh, in terms of not his activity in his boxing career, more on the night, he just wasn't there. He just was like he was getting shot off a little bit and manhandled. So it was quite a clear win for Teo.
When you're in that position where you see former fighters that you've trained for a long time, Josh Taylor, even Lawrence Okoli, where you see him pull out performances like that, what goes through your head at times? Do you think about that, overthink about that? You could have done something different with them, they could have been better under your tutelage, or what goes through your head when you see your fighters like that?
Obviously, I always feel like I get a lot out of my fighters, but nothing really goes through my head, to be honest. I've distanced myself so much from Josh, and because it's like I don't really like to watch them once they've left, and I don't mean that in a bitter way. It's just more like whether they especially when they get beaten, it's like, and they don't perform, you're just a bit like, it's just a bit disappointing to see it. But it's boxing, you can't get too sentimental. It's just a job really at the end of the day. So I think that's that really.
Final one before I let you go. Big fight between Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte. There's a lot of talk about it for August 12th, but Eddie Hearn and everyone's saying right now that Dillian Whyte's trying to get a lot of money out of this fight, and it might not even happen. If you were in Dillian Whyte's corner, what would you advise him? Would you advise him to sort of go for as much money as possible, or in his stage of his career take the fight as it comes?
Well, Dillian's been on pay-per-view, isn't he? So and he's headlined a pay-per-view himself, away from Anthony Joshua. So he obviously feels like he's worth a lot of money. But then you've got to look at recent form. He obviously beat Jermaine Franklin, but at the same time, it's just like he's still got knocked out by Tyson Fury, and I just don't think whenever he's gone up to the top level, he hasn't won. You can't really. You've got to take the opportunities. At the end of the day, whenever the pay-per-view numbers come in, they come in on AJ's side consistently. It doesn't matter if he's boxing anybody. It's like the traction's there, and Dillian Whyte gets good numbers when he's in good fights, and I think that sort of shows that the likes of AJ and Canelo, like Canelo boxed Andy Yildirim, sold out 80,000. It's nothing to do with Andy Yildirim. It's just he's just a superstar, and you have to respect that, and be happy to say all right, this is my moment. I'm going to go out there and win, and I'm going to go out there and knock him out. It can't be seen it's a cash out for sure, but it has to be reasonable.
Sure. Thank you, Shane. I want to thank you for your time today, and thank you very much for talking to Boxing King Media. We'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much.